Well, June is Pride Month, and today we're talking about the significant history behind the celebrations that come in June and why they're coming in June.
Yeah, and joining us right now is our mental health expert and psychologist, Dr. Sheryl Ziegler. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
As far as this month goes, really important month, and I guess, why is it so important to continue to recognize this year after year?
Yeah, it's really important because the needs of the LGBTQ plus community continue to evolve and change. And I thought this year would be a good year to really focus on health, mental health, and also even physical health, how there's still barriers to getting care, there's still barriers to having culturally sensitive care. And when it comes to mental health, we are still seeing higher than average numbers in terms of substance use, psychiatric disorders, and even suicide.
If I'm not mistaken, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Pride celebrations in Denver, which means that it's been celebrated for a long time, but it's changed how we're celebrating. There are still a lot of advances that need to be done in how we either relate to people or how it's celebrated. What are the ways that we can continue to say, hey, we're moving forward with this. This is, evolving as we move forward?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it's for all of us to really have a sense of getting educated. Every year, like I said, there might be different emphasis. And so continuing to get educated, continuing to follow and support maybe causes and groups that are doing some advocacy work.
It's a lot about education.
It's a lot about it. And I think that people are connected in some way to the LGBTQ plus community, sometimes in ways that we are very clear about, and some ways that we don't. But I think that the overall thing, especially around Stonewalls, just looking at the discrimination that existed back then, looking at the barriers, the biases that existed then, they were dramatic, right? To be even homosexual was a crime in the 1960s. And then to look at where we are in 2024, we've come a long way. There's still a long way to go. So I think that's why this is a really important month to just really figure out what's the thing you want to contribute.
Yeah, and I think we all have, friends, family, relatives, people close to us, right, who identify with the LGBTQ plus community. What is some ways, right, that we can all step up and make sure that we're not only there for them, but also allies and people that they can rely on?
Yeah, I think beyond getting educated, there's things you can do simply like post on your social media account, something positive and supportive. Follow social media accounts that are doing this kind of work. Add your name to a signature maybe around some legislation or a bill or something that needs to get passed. It's really interesting. There are things that we can do that can be supportive, can really add up, and they might be very, very small to us. But when we all do it collectively, it can make a real difference.
When it comes to mental health, have we seen that evolve in a sense as well? More resources that are specifically aimed at people who are saying, I'm struggling to come out to my family, or things like that, or to kids who say, I just don't know, what my future looks like in that sense. Have we seen that evolve over the years? It feels like right now, at least in schools and things like that, there's so many more resources for kids.
Absolutely. Definitely the evolution has happened. Definitely there are more resources, but I don't know that there are still enough resources.
Exactly.
And I don't know that that means that, like, even in our state, that in all four corners, that really there are those resources.
Especially outside of Denver.
Absolutely. So there's a big disparity in terms of the location that you're at, the family you come from, the county that you're in. It's just not uniform enough. So some areas probably do have what they probably consider good resources, and some areas probably have no resources.
And then even if there are resources, right, then you have to also talk about access and how people can actually, make sure that they know about them and outreach and make sure that they can actually access them.
Absolutely. I think this is why, particularly with youth, we see so many LGBTQ plus youth going to social media because they find communities online. So one of the things that I would say is if you're in a community that has limited to no resources, there's also telehealth professional services, not just, I'm not talking social media, but you can get treatment or connect with somebody who is knowledgeable, and that's something to look for too. There's probably not enough culturally knowledgeable counselors, but also to be able to talk no matter where they are. So you've still got to put some effort in, but I think that it's there depending on where you are or if you're willing to go online.
Well, beyond all the celebrations of Pride Month, that mental health aspect is still very important. Dr. Sheryl Ziegler, thank you. We always appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks.